Joining me here now on the Rich Eisen Show, and as usual, Mondays with Mooch Spot, is Steve Mariucci. Did that one surprise you? Did Chip Kelly firing, Steve?
What?
Did that one surprise you, the manner in which it happened?
I thought you meant the DeMarco Murray run.
No, well, you and I have been talking about that all year with Marshall also, that Murray wasn't being utilized and to the best of his ability. But the way that it happened with Chip?
Yeah. I don't know what firing a guy in the last week does to a team. I thought they might relieve him of his duties, Rich, in terms of player personnel and making those decisions, because those are the ones that didn't seem to be working out so much. I thought he was an innovative coach. He was 10-6 his first 2 years. So I don't think anybody's going to sneeze at that for a first-time head coach in the NFL. But, yeah, for Jeff Lurie to say, no, we're done with you. You're not coaching the last game. That was a little bit of a surprise. I thought they'd wait to after the season if they did anything at all.
Well, there's always innuendo, rumor, discussion, scuttlebutt, things of that nature. But when you hear that a coach had a go-between sometimes between him and the player, as Chip Kelly was reported to have done a couple of times, have you ever heard of anything like that, Steve?
No, and Chip got hired because they wanted, it's be careful what you wish for. They wanted somebody different than Andy Reid over there. And Andy Reid is a friend of mine and all that, but he's a heck of a coach, and I don't have to sell that. I think you know that. He won that division 6 times in Philly, okay, as a reminder. But they wanted somebody different than Andy. They wanted some innovative spread, offensive, kind of think out of the box kind of guy, and that's what Jeff Lurie wanted, and Chip Kelly, and he was that guy. And so the first year, took the league by storm. He threw for, or he had over 400 yards of total offense, more than anybody, more than Peyton Manning and Brady teams over his first 2 years. So it was like, hey, this is pretty cool. And he did things differently, Rich. He practiced differently. He took a different day off. It was very weird routine. And it was like, maybe this is the way to go. Maybe he knows something that we don't know. And so there were a lot of things, not just a go-between to your players, but it was from nutrition to practice routine to the scheme on the offense and the tempo that was way different. It was out there. Kind of worked for a while. It was intriguing. But then they decided, we don't like this anymore.
Steve Mariucci joining me here on the Rich Eisen Show. Life as a coach, what is a day like today? What are some of the coaches and assistants and things of that nature going through on a day like today, Steve?
Can you see that helmet right there?
You've got a helmet behind you there. Yeah, what is that?
Yeah, you see that? Can you zoom in on that hat on top of it?
I don't know. It says FFCA. That's Gruden's, right? Isn't that a Gruden association?
Yeah, it's Fired Football Coaches of America, okay? And
yeah. Right.
Yeah, that's not funny. It's not funny. But you know what? We wear this stuff with pride, I guess, because if you think of it, most coaches have been shown the door. Most. And even the best ones still left in the league, from the Belichicks to the Pete Carrolls to the Bruce Arians.
Hey, Tom Coughlin is reportedly meeting with Giants brass right now, Steve. As you and I are talking, Coughlin is reportedly meeting with Mara and Tisch, who have nothing but the greatest respect for him. He's been around there 12 years, which is right now only Marvin Lewis and Bill Belichick are more tenured right now.
Tom Coughlin is going to be in the Hall of Fame, okay, as a coach. So anybody that fires him will have egg on their face, okay? I don't think they'll be asked to introduce him at the Hall of Fame. Tom Coughlin's a great man. He's a great coach, okay? Now, last few years they have had losing records. Fine, if you coach long enough, you're going to have losing records. But at best, they would probably hope that he says, okay, I will resign, and hopefully they'll pay him and all of those things, because he's won 2 Super Bowls for that organization, and Bill Parcells did too, and he's in the Hall. But I went to Tom Coughlin's golf tournament. He raises money for the J Fund, okay, which is he raises. It's not just what you do as a coach or a player. It's what else do you do? What else do you do to help people out? Well, Tom Coughlin's one of those guys. His fundraisers are for this J Fund, and he raises money for childhood cancer. Okay, it's huge. It's huge. So I went to that. I don't even golf, and I went to it. So I'm eating breakfast with him. This is 2 years ago, and I said, "How long are you going to do this, Coach?" Because he's older than I am. He goes, "Steve, I feel great. I work out almost every single day. He's in great shape. He's got 12 grandkids. He's a family man, and we all know that.
Yes.
But if he's not with the Giants, and I didn't talk to him, this week or anything, but if he's not with the Giants, for whatever reason, I'm telling you, he will have phone calls from other teams that say, "Hey, coach, what do you think? You got it in you to do it one more time," because he loves it that much. He's that good, and he's that much respected. He probably will have opportunities to coach elsewhere.
Well, would he take them? Do you think? You think he would? You think it's possible he's on the sideline for some other team next year?
It's possible. I don't know after this year and last year. If he wants to do that again, can he do it? Absolutely, he can do it. He's old school, yet he gets a lot out of these guys. They love him. Organizations would love him. I mean, to put him out in front as your face and your voice of an organization, how much character and integrity do you want to put out there?
Sure.
Tom Coughlin's right on top.
Steve.
So anyway.
Yeah, no, but Steve, it's interesting. I want to ask you. I'm here with Steve Mariucci on the Rich Eisen Show, and his usual Mondays with Mooch Spot. You've been hired in the league as a head coach, as a hotshot young guy from Cal. You've wound up in San Francisco, and you were hired in Detroit as somebody who had built a program and won playoff games and was hoping that you can install that culture in a spot where they're still trying to change the culture. What do owners look for, though? I mean, because it seems like Mike Shanahan is in Miami right now. Holmgren can't even get a sniff, it seems. Brian Billick has got a ring. I think he probably wants to still coach. I see sometimes you, Steve, you get into it every now and then. You were at the Under Armour Bowl this past week, the All-American. You were getting into it. What do owners look for and sometimes count against somebody who is in advancing years? Let's put it that way.
Mm-hmm. I think every owner looks for somebody different. I don't think there's a cookie cutter candidate that is the right guy. Sometimes owners, I'm hearing rumors over here in San Francisco about the Chip Kellys and the Shanahans and the Holmgrens and all these Sabins and all these names, and some of it is not going to happen. Some of it is unrealistic. And to do that with some of these teams that lose, to get an experienced coach that's got a proven track record, you got to be willing to pay a lot of money, and you got to be able to pay for a long time, because it's not a quick fix. It usually is not a quick fix. So you got to give that guy 3-4 years to turn the corner and develop some new players and a new system, and maybe get a quarterback. Not everybody has a quarterback. And so sometimes owners are looking for this young, bright whippersnapper guy that will energize the program. Sometimes they look for, we need experience. We need a guy that's been there, done that. So he's not wet behind the ears. And so they go through the process. Yes, there's the Rooney Rule, which is important and all that, but they have to talk to several candidates. Even if you're an AD in college, you have to talk to several candidates to see who's the best fit. Because you know what the word is, Rich? Compatibility. Write that word down. It's compatibility. Because, Mike Ditka was a heck of a coach there for the Bears for a while, but he fit the Bears. Would he have fit somewhere else? Maybe, maybe not. It's personalities with a certain front office member or owner that you've got to have a pretty good marriage there. And if they're not compatible, if they bump heads, then it's just not going to work. I mean, Marty Schottenheimer was 14-2 in San Diego, and they had to make a decision, he or A.J. Smith.
Right.
So they picked the general manager. It's a crazy world.
Steve Mariucci joining me here on the Rich Eisen Show. We're going to take a break. When we come back, we'll talk about what happened in Week 17. Is that okay, Steve Mariucci?
Okay.
Okay. And
That's
and Gary Kubiak has spoken today about his starting quarterback situation. When we come back, we'll hear from Gary Kubiak and get Steve Mariucci's take. That's next here on the Rich Eisen Show.
What would you say about the starter for the playoffs?
I won't say anything. Like I said, I'm proud of our football team. They've got a few days off here. I've got a lot of things I need to do as a coach right now. I'm still up there trying to evaluate a lot of things, and so I got nothing for you today. So we'll get ready to go, and we'll go back to work Thursday.
As Gary Kubiak today, after Peyton Manning, Steve Mariucci came in and saved the day and sealed the
That was
one
awesome.
seed for the Denver Broncos yesterday against San Diego. Looking at the way the offense operated with Peyton Manning, can we attribute that to 18 being there and making the calls at the line of scrimmage, Steve, or was something else going on there? Is it that simple to say that?
Rich, this is going to be another chapter in the book of Manning. Did you see that feature?
Yes.
It's really good.
Yes.
I called up Archie. I said, wow. Anyway, when he came into the game, I didn't expect him to play. Did you yesterday when we were watching games and then they're losing? It's third quarter. He's got the helmet on so he can hear the call each time. And there's Napper. And Napper says, let's go. Let's do this. Yes. And that crowd went crazy. And this was like, yes, this was a Willis Reed. Here he comes. He's not healthy, but he's going to save the day. And Peyton, you know what? And he did it. And he did it. Unlike a normal Peyton Manning kind of being shotgun throw it every down, he did it with checks to runs away from blitzes. He was running the show. That Omaha stuff was on fire. And he threw the ball outside the numbers 2-3 times. He only completed 5 passes. That's all he had to complete. But he moved the sticks. And you know what? He energized that entire team when they were losing, turned it over 5 times before he got in the game, and then he scored 4 times, didn't he? I mean, this was kind of a storybook ending to this season. Now let's turn the page and go to the playoffs. Whew, this is going to be good.
With him, correct? With Peyton Manning.
Yeah, with him. I don't know why Gary didn't say that. It's like, Gary, the only reason you wouldn't start Peyton Manning is if he's really sore. Right? If he's like, oh, geez, I got set back. My foot, I can't walk. But if he's healthy, he's playing.
Don't you think?
From snap number 1. What?
Yeah, of course. I'm with you. That's the poll question. What does it currently stand right now at richeisenshow.com? Brockman?
All right, so who should start for the Broncos in the playoffs, Peyton or Brock Osweiler? Look, Peyton Manning's at 83%.
Yeah. I got to
talk to those. I got to talk to those 17 percenters. You know what? Listen to me, you 17 percenters. They're probably Brock Osweiler's relatives and Arizona State friends and
Montana,
that kind of thing.
Living up there in Montana too.
Yeah. You know what? Brock did a nice job as the backup quarterback. He came in and he won some games. He played very well at times. He looked young at times. He looks like the future. All that. Pat on the back. All right. Make room for the starter to come back. Here he comes. And you know, hey, Bob Greasy started in that Super Bowl after Earl Morrall took over for him that undefeated season.
Right.
Remember that?
Sure.
And they put the starter back in. So, you know, this is fair to Peyton. It's his team. He went there to win a Super Bowl. He's been close every year, and let's go.
And last one for you, Steve. What does Bruce Arians do with that result yesterday with Seattle just beating them down?
Just keep coaching. I know it now. That was a little bit of a message game, a statement game by the Seattle Seahawks. They're back. This just in. They've been to the two last Super Bowls, and they started off the season slow without Cam Chancellor, and they've been flopping around just a little bit. But you know what? They're back, and they're better than ever. So Arizona beat them in Seattle. Fine. They'll have a thriller in Manila. They will meet again in the playoffs, I suppose. But Bruce is a good coach. Teams are up and down a little bit anyway. You see that. Arizona's a good football team. They just had to give them a mulligan. They'll be fine.
All right, Steve. See you next week when we do game day morning in the afternoon prior to the Houston Texans and the Chiefs.
We will see you then, Rich.
You got it, Steve. You got it. That's
Thanks.
Steve Mariucci, my man. Steve Mariucci right here on The Rich Eisen Show.
The Rich Eisen Show, weekdays at noon Eastern. On Audience.